I was at y'all show about Rico from StreetScores coming with a very late night upload. It is 2:34 a.m. right now. I just finished up the film session exclusive for channel members, but we're here to talk about how even Browns fan LeBron James is picking Washington to win against the Browns later on today. Of course, I will be live streaming that. Also, Jayden Daniels is already in the Hall of Fame. Kinda. We're going to talk about that. Also, we're the second in the NFC right now, second seed. Also, Jayden Daniels' Madden rating finally increased at least a slightly significant amount. Last week they did him dirty, only gave him 1 extra point. They gave him a little bit more of a jump this time. Also, even Washington haters love Jayden Daniels. People that normally ignore us love Jayden Daniels. We're going to talk about that as well. But before we dive into everything, make sure you stiff arm that like button, stiff arm the subscription button, stiff arm the bell next to that subscription button so you get notification each and every time I release an informative and opinion video just like this one. And as a Georgia Bulldog fan, this college football weekend couldn't have gone any better unless Miami also lost as well. Tennessee losing, oh beautiful. Alabama losing to Vanderbilt. It can't get any better. This will be a perfect weekend as long as the Commanders go and handle business against the Browns later on today. So excited. Again, I will be live streaming that entire game, and as promised, if we win the game, which I'm fairly confident in, and I already did a full preview video breaking down the most important matchups in that game, both of our weaknesses and strengths, my score prediction and everything. Go check that out. But if we win that game, we'll just go ahead and do the call-in show immediately right as soon as the game ends. We won't even end the stream. If we lose for any crazy reason, then we'll probably do the call-in show like Tuesday or Wednesday. Just to give y'all a heads up, that's pretty much how I'm going to do it for the entire season. But instead of wasting even more of y'all time, let's go ahead and dive into this video, man. Let's get it. Adam. All right, so starting with LeBron James, who, born and raised in Ohio, is a huge Browns fan. Big time Browns fan, also an Ohio State fan, of course, as well. And just from that, and well, also like a Cowboys fan as well, but you know, he'll root for his home team a lot of the time. And so just from that, offer him your prayers, you know what I'm saying? Keep him in your thoughts and prayers for what he's had to witness in his lifetime as a fan. I know we've had it bad, but the Browns have arguably had it worse. But most importantly, he does his weekly football picks, and he even acknowledged the fact that it hurts him to pick against the Browns, but he makes these picks purely off of logic and not emotion instead. And in the video, he gives us a bunch of props for what we've done the past couple of weeks against the Bengals and Cardinals. He even said, quote, man, listen, man, Jayden Daniels has been cooking, unquote. If you haven't seen that clip, make sure you go check it out. He's doing his weekly football picks, gave us some compliments there. It's like a nice 20 to 30 seconds of LeBron James just showing us some love, and shouts out to him, man, because you know, if this were even just 3 weeks ago, let alone last year, he wouldn't have been picking us to beat really probably anybody. And so this leads us into all of the new media attention that we're receiving. Now, you know, I typically try to update y'all on what the national media is saying. And this week I just ended up super busy, so I wasn't able to do that video like I did after the Bengals win. But I did want to emphasize and point out some of the people that typically hate on us, or at the very least ignore us, like just haven't acknowledged our existence. Or in Stephen A. Smith's case at ESPN, even when we do well, he's always just that, but it's gonna fall off the rails eventually. But this is the Commanders we're talking about. Don't get too hype and things like that. He's always had like little snarky comments about us like that, even when we have had some semblance of success. Well, now they even asked earlier this week, who would he rather have out of all of the NFC East quarterbacks? That's including Dak Prescott, Jalen Hurts, and I guess you could throw Daniel Jones in there. He said, quote, I'm rolling with Jayden Daniels. I'm not rolling with a guy in Dak Prescott who's had 8 years to win a Super Bowl and can't even win more than 2 playoff games in 8 years. And he said it definitively. I want Jayden Daniels right now moving forward above anybody else in the NFC East. And there's even an argument to be made throughout the entire NFC right now. And then, of course, Skip Bayless, big time Cowboys fan. But even since the Bengals game, he's been giving us our credit, where Stephen A. Smith was more so like, man, that Bengals game was probably a fluke. He started to finally give us our credit immediately after the Cardinals game. But Skip Bayless has been giving us our credit since we beat the Bengals a couple of weeks ago. And after the Cardinals win, I mean, I'm trying to speak it into existence. I'm already in the future. I mean, I'm coming from the future right now, just letting you know we already beat the Browns, you know what I'm saying? But I gotta keep that on the low. But either way, Skip Bayless said after the Cardinals win, Jayden Daniels and the Dan Quinn revitalized Commanders are starting to look like a threat to win the NFC East. Right now, we're leading the NFC East, and we're going to talk about a little bit later how we're also second out of the entire NFC in seeding right now. And then he even posted an entire video clip that is 43 seconds long on his own Twitter, again, after the Cardinals game. His tweet title is Jayden Daniels is going to be a problem in all caps. And again, he does like a whole video breaking down that basically this guy is unstoppable, and we done messed up basically as Cowboys fans, as Cowboys players, as really a fan or a player, coach, whoever of the rest of the NFC East outside of the Commanders. We have messed up. Then you have Colin Cowherd, another guy who, he'll give us credit every now and then, but for the most part, he ignores us. He doesn't really acknowledge us much. And even when we do have good moments, he's like, that's just the Commanders. Well, he even tweeted after the Cardinals win, the Washington Commanders being the greatest offense in modern football history by a long shot comes as a surprise to me. I mean, it comes as a surprise to everybody, honestly. Probably even Jayden Daniels and Cliff Kingsbury would be like, man, I mean, this is working out even better than what we hoped. And then he even talked about us finding our guy in Jayden Daniels a few days ago and said, this is fun. This is his exact quote. This is fun. This is an incredible fan base. It reminds me of the Warriors pre-Steph, unquote. Basically, when they first got Steph, he started to explode onto the scene. And hey, the direct connection there, Bob Myers, who helped build those Warriors, also came here to help us hire Adam Peters and set us up for success. So shouts out to Bob Myers for being that common denominator there. And then you have Dallas Cowboys wide receiver, ex-wide receiver, and Des Bryant going on a whole tweet tirade immediately after we beat the Cardinals. Before the game even ended, remember we started playing at 4:30, the game ended like at 7 something. By 6:54 p.m. towards the end of that game, he said, I hate to have to tweet this, but if you really knew football and how the game was transformed, you would have known the Commanders was going to be a problem this year. So he's saying you should have even expected this before the season started. Wow. And he even said, I hate to have to tweet this. Like, he's super Cowboys. I give a lot of credit to Coach Dan Quinn because he knows how to get the right coaches and he puts his players in the best position to play some football. With that being said, go to hell, Commanders fans. So he still hates us, but he's even on Twitter arguing against other people. Like, there's a guy at Texas Dude 07. I'm assuming he's a Cowboys fan. He's basically saying, don't believe the Commanders hype. Des Bryant replies, I'll argue the Commanders are very legit. As much as I love my Cowboys, I don't think, and I hate to even say that as a quote. Hey man, edit that out. As much as I love my blue, blah, blue, I don't even know. That even felt wrong. I'm sick to my stomach after saying that. Even though I was reading, they caught me lacking right there. I don't think Coach Zim will have answers. We F around and get put in a blender. Our offense will have to score points when we play the Commanders. He also, and then the same guy replied again saying that the Commanders are not that serious and all that type of stuff. He replied, I promise this is not the case. Commanders have a legit coaching staff and they build around their quarterback's gifts. Kingsbury and Daniels were the perfect marriage. You really don't want to know how I feel about Jayden Daniels. I've made some bold predictions and statements about him in my group chat, and he's living up to everything I've said so far. The game is not too big for him, and he runs the RPO to perfection. What a lot of quarterbacks have a hard time doing to make it, he makes it look easy. A effing rookie. That's wild. And then also, I mean, I talked about this last week. This is before we even beat the Cardinals. After we beat the Bengals, you had Michael Irvin and Keyshawn Johnson in their new show. I think it's called Speak Up or The Speak or something like that. It's basically in place of Skip Bayless's show that he had on Fox. And they said something before the Cardinals game. They were talking about, who's going to win Offensive Rookie of the Year. Their pick was Jayden Daniels, but the reason I'm mentioning this now is because the logic was that the Commanders are going to win more games. They said the Cardinals and the Giants look more like 5-6 win teams. The Commanders look like 10-11 win teams. And so those are compliments. You have Des Bryant, an ex-Cowboys receiver, Michael Irvin, Keyshawn Johnson, ex-Cowboys legends as well, all giving credit to the Commanders. And I just felt like that would warm the hearts of some of y'all Commanders fans out there watching this video. So I felt like I should include this in this video, while also the fact that LeBron James is even giving us credit and showing us love, even as a Browns fan. And, when the Cowboys are winning, a Cowboys fan as well. He's kind of one of those weird fans there. But I guess I'm assuming he's more of a Cowboys fan, but then when his hometown was winning, sometimes he'll root for them. I can never do that. I hate the Falcons too much to ever live like that. Either way, though, then you also have some people who's been screaming that Jayden Daniels would be the best quarterback from this class before the draft even happened. Guys like Kirk Bencourt, he tweeted, "It's always been Jayden Daniels." Plain and simple. That's the tweet. He has so many tweets supporting Jayden Daniels. He already has film sessions on his channel and everything. So shouts out to him. He was one of the people that had Jayden Daniels as his #1 quarterback entering the draft. And now these guys are basically running victory laps. Also, shouts out to Rich Eisen, because I don't know if y'all knew this or if y'all paid attention, but before the game, when NFL Network does their picks, you had Gerald, he picked the Cardinals. Kurt picked the Cardinals. Mooch picked the Cardinals. Rich Eisen lone wolfed it. He even put on the wolf hat and did the howl and everything. He was the only one to pick us. And then after the game, after we won, he just tweeted "yep" with a picture of himself howling, and when he's the only one with a commander under his name in the picture. And then also Louis Riddick. Speaking of guys running victory laps right now, NFL Films basically gave him an entire documentary on Jayden Daniels already, where he's narrating, because he has been one of the biggest Jayden Daniels fans before the draft even happened, out there doing it. He's been doing victory laps on Twitter as well. But if you haven't seen that documentary, it's at the official NFL Films Twitter account, at NFL Films. The actual title of the tweet says "completion percentage, stock up; first down, stock up; punt, stock down." It says at Louis Riddick ESPN gives Jayden Daniels his flowers after a historic start. Hashtag NFL turning point. If you haven't checked that out, make sure you go check that out, because it's beautiful, man. It almost brings tears to your eyes to like see other people, break down how we found our guy and how the sky's the limit and how he's only going to get better. It's a bunch of slow motion highlights and things like that with the narration. It feels like we already won a Super Bowl type of thing, the way he's narrating it. Like we're just destined for greatness. Like the NFL script writers are finally putting us in as the protagonists or something like that. That's what that video feels like. We're just meant to be great type of thing. And then also, before we move on to the second half of this video, hey, what's up with y'all, man? Have y'all heard of NFL All Day yet? If not, that's crazy. Because first of all, this is a file way to collect some of the greatest highlights in NFL history. With NFL All Day, you're not just watching highlights, you're owning them. Grab officially licensed NFL moments and make them a part of your collection. And now, they even have the top rookies from this 2024 draft class included as well. You can buy a pack with moments from them, like a touchdown play or a game-changing interception or a fumble, anything, the memorable moments that stick with you type of things. And each and every one of them is unique as well. It's just like owning a piece of the NFL that is completely yours to keep or do whatever you want to do with it. We'll get to that. These aren't just highlights, they are real deal type of stuff, officially licensed straight from the NFL, directly from them. Plus, with the new rookie class added, you could pull moments from one of the league's rising stars, say like Jayden Daniels, right from the start. And what's really fire about the whole situation is that you can hold on to them as a collection, or you can even trade or sell them with other collectors like you. And it's a 24/7 marketplace where you can make moves anytime that you want. There's so many ways you can go about it. Have fun whatever way you see fit. And there are always new challenges and events where you can earn even more moments from NFL All Day. It really makes you feel like you're a part of the NFL community. You're in the inside of the inside. You're where everybody's at. And in one of my vintage packs that I got, I was able to pull the Washington legend linebacker London Fletcher himself and the clutch moments he had in that 28-18 victory over the Dallas Cowboys, that final game of the 2012 season, that RG3 rookie season, which is honestly like the last time it feels like we've completely filled up a home game with our fans. I have that moment that I got out of the pack. He had a couple of sacks and all kinds of great plays in that game. And then in my most recent packs, I was able to pull Jonathan Allen's 2023 sack against the Arizona Cardinals. That was a big time moment. And I was also able to pull Terry McLaurin's super contested catch against the Eagles in 2023 last season as well. Man, it's very easy and it's very fun. I'm trying to tell you, now is the perfect time to jump in and join in on the fun. Grab a pack and see what you pull, man. Don't miss out. Come pull up to NFL All Day right now and let's get it. Now, let's talk about the fact that the Washington Commanders, with the Buccaneers losing, even though I was sick because I hate the Falcons more than anything else, but the Buccaneers losing did help us out because now we are the 2nd seed in the NFC, only behind the 1 seed Vikings because they're undefeated and we're 3-1. Of course, we are currently the sole leaders of the NFC East. It's not a tie. It's not like there's another 3-1 team, but we just have like the better strength of schedule or anything like that. No tiebreakers. No, we're 3-1. Cowboys and Eagles 2-2. Giants 1-3. And again, we are the 2nd seed out of the entire NFC right now, and I absolutely love it. Right behind us are the Seahawks, who are winning the NFC West right now. Don't necessarily expect that to stick around, but then you never know because the 49ers have been hurt, and we just beat the Cardinals. I think the Cardinals are a pretty good team, but we'll see if they can recover. And then you have the Falcons, who are the 4th seed, sadly, at 3-2. We play them the second to last game of the season. I need to win that just off of I hate the Falcons more than any other team, even more than the Cowboys. And then on top of that, I mean, if you're just looking at the seeding right now, and I mean, we have a long season to go, but just assume that the Commanders and Falcons are both fighting for the playoffs. That may end up being a very important game. But then, of course, we play the Cowboys the final game of the season. So those last few games are going to be pretty hectic, man. I mean, literally the last few, after our bye week, is Saints, Eagles, Falcons, Cowboys right now. That is a tough slate to end the season, but I feel like we're loaded up and ready. And then now moving on, Jayden Daniels is now ranked a 79 overall in Madden 25. Still not a big enough upgrade in my opinion, but at least his throw accuracy short went up 4 points to 91. Throw under pressure went up 2 points to 82. His throw accuracy medium went up 2 points to 82. And he went up from a 76 to a 79. At first, just last week, they raised him from a 75 to 76. I was like, what's the point of even touching it? I prefer for them to act like they didn't even see him and like, oh, okay, the excuse is we're not even touching Madden ratings yet. We're going to wait till like halfway through the season or a few more weeks or something like that. But to go and be like, okay, he's balling, we're just going to move him up 1 overall point from 75 to 76. I thought it felt stupid. But then even this feels a little stupid, but at least they increased him by 3 points. But they need to increase his speed. They need to increase everything because right now he's top 2 quarterbacks in performances right now this year. You can argue, at least statistically, especially advanced stats wise, he's played like the best quarterback in the NFL so far this year. So a 79 is even criminal. I think you definitely need to push him up into the upper 80s. Maybe that's just bias speaking, but that's literally how he's played. If Josh Allen is a 90 something, if Pat Mahomes is a 90 something, Jalen Hurts, all of these other guys, Jayden Daniels should be a 90 something as well. I know it's only 4 games in, but he's outperformed every quarterback in the NFL so far when you look at the advanced stats. When you're looking at EPA per play and all of that type of stuff, y'all know I don't play about those stats. Jayden Daniels has literally been the best quarterback in the NFL, but let's just let him go out there and prove it again to the Browns so everybody else who's not on the train yet, somehow, for some reason, they go ahead and try to get on after that game. Because a lot of people are saying, hey, man, Browns defense, best the Commanders have faced this year. Will he be able to pass that test? Watch him pass that test with flying colors later on today while I'm live streaming and see how a lot of people who were still not giving him the credit he deserves finally come around. Next up, Jayden Daniels is already technically in the Hall of Fame. Not him as an entire person, of course, but the ball from Jayden Daniels' record-setting performance against the Bengals has made it to Canton. Shouts out to the Pro Football Hall of Fame themselves tweeting it at Pro Football HOF. New to the Pro Football Hall of Fame, Commanders quarterback Jayden Daniels threw this football for his last completion, a 27-yard touchdown to Terry McLaurin, sealing a 38-33 win over the Bengals on September 23rd, 2024. Daniels set an NFL rookie record with a 91.3% completion rate and he went 21 of 23. And then they even have a full story on it with an article linked at the tweet. So if you want to go check that out, definitely feel free to, because it's a beautiful breakdown of like what happened on the play, why they felt like it deserved to be in the Hall of Fame. It's like its own little mini article with a picture of the football and everything. And now that I think about it, man, like Jayden Daniels took the first passing touchdown completion that he had to Trent Scott. Like he took that home with him, even though Trent Scott was like, man, can we saw it in half so we can both have each half of it? And Jayden Daniels was like, nah, I need this whole thing. So I mean, hey, at the end of the day, at least Jayden Daniels throw him another touchdown pass sometime later in the season when people forget that that's even a thing that we do, so that he can take at least one football home and say, this is a touchdown pass that I made as a backup tackle in the NFL. But either way, I also thought about the fact that if because I'm pretty sure the Pro Football Hall of Fame didn't have staff at that game. I'm pretty sure a random fan ended up with that football. And for the Pro Football Hall of Fame to have it, I'm pretty sure that fan made some big money off of giving it to him. So shouts out to whoever that fan is. They ended up making that completion. Whatever staff member, equipment manager, I don't know who got it, because I highly doubt the Pro Football Hall of Fame just has staff at games just waiting for a moment like that. Especially nobody was expecting Jayden Daniels to do that against the Bengals that night. So shouts out to whoever made big money off of that. Also, before we get up out of here, I want to acknowledge a few things getting ready for this Browns game. If you're watching this before the Browns game, here we go. Shouts out to @JDanielsMVP. Shouts out to him because he's always providing a lot of useful information. He pointed out the fact that Washington is 0-6 in Week 5 games since 2016. We just have a cursed Week 5, excluding the 2017 bye week where that was the only time we haven't lost. The last win came against the Ravens led by Kirk Cousins. Will the Commanders finally break this streak against the Browns? That's just something to keep in mind right there. Also, punts through 4 games of the 2023 season, 17. Punts through 4 games of the 2024 season, 4. Shouts out to Tressway, man, because he's been chilling pretty much for the majority of the season outside of being the NFL's most expensive placeholder right now. Also, another thing that you need to keep in mind, my dog, Commander Safety Tyler Owens, has been downgraded to doubtful as he deals with a shin injury right now, which does kind of suck. But on the bright side, if you're a Derek Forrest fan, shouts out to Ben Standick for pointing this out. This could be the week that Derek Forrest makes his season debut now that fellow safety Tyler Owens is doubtful, because he's been inactive all season. Derek Forrest hasn't even had the chance to touch the field in a regular season game yet. Ben Standick continued to say it's been literally 1 year since Forrest last played in Washington. He suffered a shoulder injury on literally September 5th, 2023. So it's been a year and a day since Derek Forrest has played football in a regular season. He missed the remainder of the season, and he's been inactive so far through the first 4 games. So if you're a big Derek Forrest fan, maybe this is the time that you get to see him. You may not see him on defense, but you may see him down there making plays on special teams. Shouts out to everybody, Rio, Louis T, and Ed Oliver. I forgot who was the one that made the point. It may have been Louis T specifically that brought up the fact that Tyler Owens has been getting double teamed on special teams coverage right now. As an undrafted free agent that I've been telling y'all about since even before the draft happened, super glad that we got him. That's one of my biggest I told y'all so's I guess I probably have under my belt right now as a scout. But the problem is, without Tyler Owens there, if Derek Forrest is the one that's going to have to step up, is he that dominant of a special teams coverage player to where he's going to demand double teams? And if not, who's going to end up with that extra blocker? Jeremy Reeves now? So I'm basically saying my main point is other guys are going to have to step up big time so that we can continue with this good special teams coverage. Even though against the Cardinals, that very first kickoff return that they had, they returned it to like the 40, then they fumbled it, and then they ended up recovering it at like the 50-yard line. That's why they started that drive with such excellent field positioning, and they ended up scoring one of their only 2 touchdowns of the game. That was because it started with special teams. Special teams are important. Also, shouts out to Mad Hatter Commander on Twitter, because this is very true, and I was literally thinking this, but I'm appreciating the way that they word it. Remember, Commanders fans, quiet on offense, loud on defense. Once again, quiet on offense, loud on defense. Don't forget, quiet on offense, loud on defense for those of y'all that will be at the game, because we need to, this is probably going to be the first time we've had a true home field advantage crowd like we're going to potentially have against the Browns since I would say probably 2012, last game of the season to beat the Cowboys to win the division, RG3's rookie season. So maybe some fans forgot how this home crowd thing works. Make sure you're loud on defense, but quiet for the offense. Let's cause some delay of game penalties, some miscommunications and false starts for the opposing team's offense. But when our offense is on the field, we need perfect silence, please. It's just like the free throw thing. When you're the home team, everybody relax, everybody stand perfectly still. You know what I'm saying? Don't make any sudden movements, don't even blink, so that you don't find any way to distract your home team player shooting free throws. But when the other team is going, you need to do whatever you can movement wise, look as silly as you can, loud noise, make sure the floor is shaking, the stadium is rattling, all of that type of stuff. Same thing for football. It would be nice if we finally have a home field advantage type of situation, because those affect games for real. They force penalties, they cause penalties for the Browns offense. That is a huge advantage that we have, and I can't wait to have that type of advantage. I'm not exactly sure if we're going to have that immediately. I can't wait to see how y'all show out in the DMV pulling up to that game. Let's see. If we can already have some home field advantage by week 5, imagine how crazy it's going to get by later in the season. And remember, we don't leave Maryland the month of October. We play at home now. We play the Baltimore Ravens in Baltimore the next week, and then we have 2 more home games after that. Never leave the state of Maryland, so that's pretty cool, especially travel wise for the players. That's really nice. And then lastly, shouts out to @JDanielsMVP again. Here's your fan rooting guide for Sunday's games. Of course, you want the Commanders to win. That's obvious. But also, you need the Jets to win, because that would mean that the Washington Commanders take first place in the NFC if we both win and the Vikings lose. We also want the Seahawks to win, and we also want the Steelers to win. So just to give you that update, shouts out to JDanielsMVP for that. And I had to go look up why we wanted the Seahawks and Steelers to win, because on the Seahawks end, they're the 3rd seed. So I kind of want them to lose naturally, but then I looked up who they're playing. I just assumed it was NFC East opponents, and then that's exactly what it is. The Seahawks play the Giants. Let's root for the Seahawks to beat them, of course. And the Steelers play the Cowboys. Let's root for the Steelers to beat them Cowboys for sure. The Giants one is kind of, you know what I'm saying? First of all, already I'm assuming that they're going to lose, and because I don't even think Malik Neighbors is playing. And then on top of that, I mean, whether they win or lose, I don't think they're going to win the division regardless, even if they do beat the Seahawks. So maybe it would be advantageous for the Giants to be 2-2 and the Seahawks to be 3-2, so we can gain a bigger lead in the Seahawks, while the Giants are just not going to end up winning the division anyway. I mean, I just feel like we're going to beat them the second time, and that's pretty much going to cancel their hopes and dreams of winning the division. So maybe long term, the Giants beating the Seahawks may help us, but the Steelers beating the Cowboys, I don't care what scenario, no matter how you look at it, what angle you turn your head, no matter what logic you use, I need the Steelers to whoop up on the Cowboys, on top of the fact that, I mean, this is some Georgia dogs over there for the Steelers, man. So I'm rooting for those guys to perform well at the NFL level anyway. So I'll definitely be rooting for the Steelers against the Cowboys. But yeah, man, that's the end of this video. Please get in the comment section. Let me know how you feel about everything discussed in the video. Please stiff arm that like button, stiff arm the subscription button, stiff arm the bell next to that subscription button so you get notification each and every time I release an informative and opinion video just like this one. Please let me know in the comment section how you feel about everything discussed in the video. I really appreciate y'all for staying tuned. Make sure, again, you do not leave this video without leaving a like. Make sure you let me know in the comment section if you agree or disagree with any of my points. Let me know how you feel about everything discussed in this video, especially the fact that Jayden Daniels already has a football in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. How do you feel about that, man? And of course, let me know what your predictions are for this game that is happening later on today, even though I still got to go to sleep and everything. But later on today, I will be live streaming that, so make sure you pull up. I really appreciate y'all. Catch y'all later. I'm out.